Hi, I'm Cal Wilder of SmartBooks Corp. This video is for all you EOS implementers and users of the entrepreneurial operating system. I'm an early implementer myself. Back in 2012, we implemented SmartBooks, and today I want to talk about the challenges of filling one of the seats in the accountability chart, specifically the finance seat. As you know, when founders start small businesses, they tend to be great salespeople, or they might be an expert in a particular field. What they are almost never is an expert in bookkeeping, accounting, and finance. But yet the finance seat's a critical seat. We've worked with many hundreds of small businesses over the years, and they tend to come to us because their books are in a mess and they can't even get the basic bookkeeping and accounting done, let alone financial planning and analysis and budgeting and using the financials to really run the business. And so it's a critical seat, but it's also a different kind of seat. You think about the marketing and sales seat, that's a full-time seat. You hire somebody to grow your business. There's definitely 40 hours a week for a good marketing and salesperson leader to spend. You hire somebody to run operations, that's definitely a 40-hour week job, even at smaller businesses. But when you think about financial management of a small business, it's really not 40 hours a week of work. If you hire a 40-hour senior finance manager, you spend their time doing bookkeeping and accounting and office management and IT and legal and HR and any number of things to fill up 40 hours a week. And so the other dynamic too is, if you're a small business owner, you may be willing to spend six figures on a sales and marketing leader who's going to really drive the growth of your business. You may be willing to spend $100,000 a year to get out of the operations seat yourself and bring somebody else in who's capable of operating the business, since it's grown to a point maybe it's outgrown what the founder can do themselves. But when it comes to finance, that's something everybody's reluctant to spend the six figures on. It's an important seat, but yeah, it's not a senior full-time seat. And so how does it get done well? That's the challenge. How do you successfully fill the seat? So the first thing we do is we think about, what's the finance stack, or that's jargony. It really means what are the different functions that roll up into getting the finance seat responsibilities completed. So when I think of it, there are three roles there. One of them is bookkeeping, accounting, and basic financial reporting. Two is financial planning and analysis, budgeting, analyzing different results, things like that. And then the third is making the big financial decisions that move the needle for the company and holding the other functions accountable. It's really owning the financial performance of the business. And so in my experience, the finance seat is most successfully filled usually when the owner or one of the owners fills the finance seat themselves and then fills in the other two roles around them, and uses other resources to get the job done. If you think about it, the owner has the most on the line financially. The business loses money, it's coming out of the owner's pocket. The business makes an incredibly risky decision. The downside, is owned by the owner. Nobody has more on the line than the owner, and it's really hard to effectively delegate responsibility for financial performance to others in a small business. And so you certainly want to use, resources, part-time, full-time outsourced firms like SmartBooks to help get the tactical work done, but it's hard to give up responsibility. And so there's some alternatives that we've seen clients pursue that usually don't work as well, but I want to cover three of them. One of them is elevating kind of a junior employee into the senior leadership team in order to fill the finance seat. Sounds good, right? You're getting somebody else's name in the box. The goal is to have a different name owning each of the seats. It sounds good, but the reality is elevating a more junior employee who's not ready to be a senior executive yet in their career into the mix of a senior leadership team that's supposed to be filled with senior executives. That's going to change the whole dynamic of the team and typically does not really produce the desired financial results for the business anyway. The second thing we've seen is hiring a part-time external consultant like a fractional CFO to come in and own the finance seat, be on the senior leadership team, attend the weekly level 10 meetings. I've been there, I've done that on the external consultant side as a consulting CFO, and it can certainly work very well if the owner does a couple things. The owner has to kind of partner with and co-own financial results and really utilize the skill and experience and insight of the external consultant. And then be willing to compensate and work around the fact this individual is part-time and external, is not a full-time, 100% committed C-level executive of the business. When it does not work so well is when the owner brings in that part-time CFO and then abdicates and delegates all responsibility and everything to this individual and expects it to work out just as well as if there was a full-time internal person, and then gets upset when it doesn't. Because the fact is, unless this person's north of 20 hours and starting to approach full-time, they're just not as engaged in the business. They're not physically able to be at the business. They don't know the employees in the business. They don't know the customers of the business. They're just limited in their effectiveness. And so you got to accept that and get the benefits of the fractional cost of this person, and work around the fact that they, at the end of the day, are still fractional and they're going to be a little bit less effective than a full-time person. And the third way we've seen this attacked would be to have the owner do everything themselves. They don't want to spend the money. They think they can, do the bookkeeping and accounting. How hard can it really be? They can learn it. They can do it. And maybe the owner would be capable of learning it and doing it, but it's never the best use of the owner's time. There's always something more important to be doing. The owner's never motivated to actually do that work. There's always an excuse that it doesn't get done. If you hire a part-time or full-time resource or a firm to do the bookkeeping and accounting and financial planning and analysis, that's their job. That's what they're getting paid to do. That's what they're accountable for. There's no excuse for it not getting done. And so those are my thoughts. If I conclude here, what we've really seen from our experience is the owner really cannot effectively delegate ownership of the finance seat with the major financial decisions of the company and really owning the financial performance of the company and the risks that the company is willing to take. You just can't delegate those kinds of responsibilities in a small business to more junior or part-time resources. Instead, the owner should round out, the other roles that are part of the finance seat to get the tactical work done by somebody else, and then really focus on growing that business to get at the point where the business can afford that great full-time finance manager as part of the senior leadership team. So that's my experience. That's what I recommend. That's what I've seen work best, but I'm very interested to hear from you EOS practitioners and EOS users. Find me on LinkedIn, Calvin Wilder. Find me on Twitter. Find me at smartbookscorp.com. Share your experience. Would love to hear from you what other ways people have successfully cracked this nut and successfully filled the finance seat at an EOS-driven company.